Are you struggling with evaluation? I'll show you how I did mine to get the A star. In your 25 mark essays, I see way too many students with one line of evaluation at the end of their paragraphs. This is an absolute disaster. To be able to achieve those 20 plus marks in your essays, you need to have a large chunk of evaluation at the end of your paragraph. And today, I'll show you how to develop that. The way I would define evaluation is, it's anything that can limit the effectiveness of the points you've presented. As no point you write about will be flawless, it's all about deconstructing that point and finding its limitations. For example, if your point is about how decreasing interest rates will stimulate AD, the way to evaluate this is think about any limitations of the strategy. Think about anything that may stop decreasing interest rates stimulating AD. And if you've revised the content well, you'll know a great evaluation point here would just be if the economy is in a liquidity trap. When you reach the end of your paragraphs, you'll need to evaluate, but sometimes you won't be able to think of any evaluation points to write. Don't worry, I've been there too, and the way I solved this was running through these 4 points to see whether they're applicable to the question. So, for micro, the 4 general evaluation points I used, first one was long run versus short run. Question how the point you've made effects could change between the long run and the short run. For example, when regulating monopolies, you could say in the short run it'll lead to better prices for consumers, thus improving consumer welfare. However, in the long run, you could argue a lack of dynamic efficiency, thus hurting consumer prospects in the long run. Point number 2, question any assumptions you've made. This relates a lot back to your first lesson in economics, where you learnt about ceteris paribus. For example, if your point was talking about how government reduces overconsumption of negative externalities by taxing them, you could then evaluate this point by saying, however, this depends on the appearance of black markets, thus not solving the overconsumption, as this is something ceteris paribus does not take into account. Point 3, elasticities. Thinking about how the demand or supply changes for your good, whether it's elastic or inelastic. For example, if you've implemented a tax on a good to reduce its overconsumption, you could easily evaluate this by saying, however, this depends on the PED of the good. As if the good is inelastically demanded, this means quantity demanded will not fall significantly by the tax, meaning we have not reduced the overconsumption. Point number 4 is inequality. How does it affect individuals from different socio-economic backgrounds? For example, by scrapping university fee subsidies, it will affect individuals from lower socio-economic backgrounds disproportionately, thus increase inequality, which you could easily link to the Lorenz curve. For macro, I used all of them wherever they were applicable, but I also used one more. This was, how will others respond? By others, I meant consumers, firms, the government, central banks, other countries, etc. For example, if my point was talking about a policy to depreciate the value of the pound to increase the competitiveness of UK exports, I would evaluate this by saying, however, this depends on how competing countries respond, as they could do the same, depreciate their currency, thus cause a currency war, thus not improving the competitiveness of UK exports. Okay, so one personal tip I have for evaluation is writing evaluation points in your margins. So when you're writing analysis, naturally, great evaluation points will pop into your head and you need to take some sort of note of them or you'll forget them. The way I did this was writing 2 or 3 words regarding the evaluation point in my margins. This meant when I came to the point of the paragraph where I had to evaluate, I could just quickly scan through my margins and have a few evaluation points ready for me. Evaluation, as I've emphasised, is an absolute essential part of scoring 20 plus on your essays, and just like with most things, it comes with just getting those reps in, just constantly practicing writing out those essays. Anyway, if you'd like some one-on-one tutoring by me, A-star last year, top link in the description to find out more. Lots of new videos being pumped out, subscribe to not miss out, and thank you for watching.